Thank you for joining us here today for the new member and first-time attendee orientation. My name is Christopher Fox, and I am the CEO of the International Association for Dental, Oral, and Craniofacial Research. And I'm very much looking forward to this presentation and hearing from you questions you may have. And the presentation is structured to give you a little bit of, assuming you're new to the organization as well as the first-time attendee of the meeting, a little bit of information about IADR, and then also about the meeting. So, as I said, a little bit about IADR. Our mission is to drive dental, oral, and craniofacial research for health and well-being worldwide. And our vision is oral health for the world through discovery and dissemination. We have three value statements centered around scientific excellence, social responsibility, and scientific community. So regarding scientific excellence, we value science at the highest, conducted at the highest possible levels of rigor, innovation, and ethics across disciplines, from discovery science to clinical implementation to global population health. Social responsibility, we value the pursuit of science to improve health and well-being for all people, to reduce health inequalities and inequities, and proactively take actions and positions to improve health. And then scientific community is all about you. We value a diverse and inclusive scientific workforce that promotes work-life balance and supports educational activities and mentoring networks to develop the next generation of scientists. Our board of directors, our current president is Professor Satoshi Imazato from Osaka University in Japan. He has served as president since our New Orleans meeting, and his term concludes as president anyway at the Barcelona meeting. On the Friday of the Barcelona meeting, we will then induct our next president, who will be Pamela Yellick from Tufts University in Boston. And the vice president currently is Jennifer Gallagher. She'll move up to the president-elect position. And our incoming vice president is Raul Garcia, not shown on this slide, but he will be coming in as vice president at the conclusion of the Barcelona meeting. And our current immediate past president is Ophir Klein, and he will cycle off the board at the conclusion of the Barcelona meeting. As well, our treasurer is Alvaro Della Bona from University of Passo Fundo in Brazil. And you can see even with our elected officers, we have a very geographically diverse board of directors, as any international organization should. But to ensure that we have representation across the world, we also have the structure of regional board members. So we have a regional board member from our Africa Middle East region, which is Sadiqa Khan from the University of Western Cape in Cape Town, South Africa. Someone from the Asia Pacific, In-Sung Yuo from Seoul National University, Republic of Korea. A Pan-European regional board member, Marcello Ruggio from Glasgow. A regional board member for Latin America, Gabriel Sanchez from University of Buenos Aires. And a regional board member from North America, which is Olga Baker from University of Missouri, Columbia. We also, for the last 4 or 5 years, we've had a Young Investigator representative, and these are the individuals who won the Young Investigator Award, and they serve for a term of 2 years, so that they're representing younger researchers on the board and making sure we're capturing their viewpoints. So at the moment, that's Flora Momen Haravi and Gustavo Nascimento from Singapore. And then our 2 editors, the editor-in-chief from JDR, Nicholas Jakubovics, and our editor-in-chief for the JDR CTR, Jocelyn Fine from McGill University, and then myself. We are structured, as I was just outlining, the regional board members from each of these 5 regions. We have an Africa Middle East region, Asia Pacific, Latin America, North America, and Pan-European region. And then within each of those 5 regions, we have divisions and sections. The only difference between a division and section is size. So typically a new country or region will come in as a section. To be a section, you need to be at least 10 members of IADR to form a section. And once you have more than 50 members, you can then become a division. And there are some financial benefits to being a division versus a section. So the goal is always to come in as a section and then grow till you become a division. This is where we ended at the end of 2024 in terms of membership, slightly more than 9,000 members around the world. Our largest individual division is our American division called the American Association for Dental, Oral, and Craniofacial Research, or AADOCR. And our second largest division is our Continental European division, which includes several of the countries in Europe. And then the Chinese division and Japanese division are 3 and 4. the order of that can change depending on the year. And I'm pleased to say so far in 2025, we've increased this number. So we're about 5% higher than this number so far in 2025. So what are the benefits to being an IADR member? One, you get a very steep discount to attend the meeting. You should all be registered by now, and will have realized that benefit already in terms of the meeting discount. You've got access to our IADR webinar and CE On Demand library, access online publication to JDR and JDR CTR, as well as advances in dental research. You're part of the IADR community, which is a very international community. As part of your membership, if you're a member with a capital M, a full member, you get membership to one scientific group or network as part of your membership, but you can add additional groups and networks for $20 each. If you're a student member, you can have access to 3 scientific groups and networks as part of your membership. And that's because we feel that students are figuring out where they want to land in IADR, and they can sort of test out and sample different scientific groups and networks. You're part of a region, division, or section, as I've just outlined. Lots of awards and fellowships, which are only eligible if you're an IADR member. A lot of volunteer opportunities to help grow your CV and your leadership skills by being involved in a committee or your local division or section leadership as well. And we also have a career center. So we have 36 scientific groups and networks. And I would hazard a guess that no matter what area of science you're in within dental, oral, and craniofacial research, you'll be able to find a scientific home within one of these groups or networks. And it's really important, particularly when we have very large meetings, like we're anticipating for Barcelona of over 4,500 attendees. It can be somewhat overwhelming, but these scientific groups and networks provide a home for your science, and as a smaller group of people, and it's easier to navigate the meeting if you focus on 1 or 2 of the groups or networks. Some of them are having their business meetings this week virtually. So if you go to our website, you can find out when those are, and some of them are having them at the Barcelona meeting, and many of them are also having receptions at the IADR meeting in Barcelona. And I would encourage you to attend those because that's a great way to network and meet the leadership of the different groups and networks. Our journal, as I've already mentioned, the editor-in-chief of JDR, Journal of Dental Research, is Nicholas Jakubovics. It's ranked number 4 in terms of the 2-year journal impact factor at 5.7, a very high impact factor that we've worked hard to obtain, and a 5-year impact factor of 7.6. And you can see some of the other metrics there. Importantly, we have a very quick turnaround. So one of the frustrating things about writing and submitting papers is you may not hear back from a journal for months, and then your paper's just sort of held up, and it's made worse even if you don't get accepted to that journal. We have a very quick turnaround of about 21 days. So you'll find out, even if it's not deemed suitable for the Journal of Dental Research, at least you'll get feedback very, very soon and can move it, repurpose it to another journal. So in 2016, we launched this other journal, sort of a derivative journal of JDR called JDR Clinical and Translational Research. The editor-in-chief since its inception has been Jocelyn Fine from McGill University. And for a new journal, it takes a while to actually get an impact factor. We just got an impact factor 2 years ago, and we're now at 2.2, which puts us in the top third of all the dental journals that are ranked and given an impact factor. You also have access to our IADR community, and that's a great place also to network and discover colleagues around the world within your scientific discipline or even within your division. So I would encourage you to explore the IADR community. We have a webinar in CE On Demand library. We record some of the programming at our IADR General Sessions, but we've recently focused more on the webinars that are being held throughout the year, and we work with each of the scientific groups and networks to host a webinar throughout the year. So there'll be a lot of diverse topics throughout the year, and if you can attend live, that's great, but if you can't, it'll be recorded and available on this webinar in CE On Demand library for later viewing, and that's only available as a membership benefit. We also have our IADR Connect program, which is a new members-only series by the scientific groups and networks. Awards and fellowships, as I mentioned, we have over 40 awards and fellowships in different categories. Some of our awards really target more senior investigators or sort of like capstone kind of awards. And these are the Distinguished Scientist Awards. Then the individual groups and networks have their own awards. And then we have a number of awards that are focused at the student level and young investigator. Probably the most prestigious is our IADR Hatton competition, which will be taking place in Barcelona in three categories: a junior category, a senior clinical, and senior basic science categories. And that's always one of the highlights of our meeting. The final competition, to get in the competition, you have to have first won the Hatton competition within your section or division, and then you compete at the IADR General Session. And that competition is held on the Tuesday before the meeting so that we're able to announce the winner at our opening ceremony on Wednesday. And then another relatively newer award is the Joseph Lister Award for New Investigators. And there's many more than are even on this slide. We care very much about developing research around the world and not just in high-income countries. We do a number of activities that support research in low and middle-income countries, including our Regional Development Program, which provides funding for research infrastructure development in low and middle-income countries. We have an Adopt a Member Fund so that if you are from a high-income country and have the capacity to make an additional donation, you can make a donation to support not a particular, but a member from a division that's a lower middle income country. You can't actually name the individual for tax reasons, but you can just put some money into a pool for, say, one of our low middle income countries, and then the staff and the leadership of that division or section that's defined as low middle income country will assign that membership to an individual. Awards and fellowships. We have a number of our awards and fellowships that are targeted towards scientists, young scientists from low and middle income countries. And then, of course, we have our tiered dues and registration fees. So you pay a lower annual dues amount if you are from a low or middle income country, and the same with registration for our meetings. Okay, so the reason why you're here is you're coming to Barcelona, and we look forward to welcoming you in Barcelona. A couple of things that you should be doing before you go to the meeting. One is you want to download the General Session app, and you can point your iPhone or Android device at this QR code and download that. You can also go to our website if you prefer to on a desktop or a iPad or tablet and download the schedule there. But you should definitely do that before you go. And also, there's no printed program at the meeting. Everything is on this app, or if you prefer a laptop, it will be on your laptop. So you need to plan in advance your schedule and go through what the sessions are you definitely want to attend. There's a meeting planning function of the app where you can choose what to be attending, and that'll help develop your schedule for the few days. There's a lot happening at the meeting, and if it's your first time, it can be a little bit overwhelming. So the more time you spend in advance in planning out your schedule, the better. Fortunately, this convention center, which we were also at about 15 years ago in 2010, is a very nice convention center where things are relatively easy to find. You know, we're always at the mercy of the design of the convention center and how easy it is to get from one place to the other. But all the scientific sessions are relatively close to each other in one big convention center called the CCIB, and then the poster hall and exhibit hall is in another area. But it's very easy to navigate, particularly after your first day, once you get the hang of it. And the hotels are also very close to, at least the hotels that we're using are very close to the convention center. So walkable from the hotels to the convention center. And then you can also search on the app or online by scientific group or network. So whatever group you're in, you can search and see what all of their programming is. You want to pay attention to if some of them will have a keynote speaker, some of them will have oral sessions. Almost all of them have oral sessions, and then also poster sessions. So all of that is on the meeting app. One of the things you want to make sure you plan to attend are the Distinguished Lecture Series speakers, and I've got a slide on that coming up, as well as the opening ceremonies and award presentations, and that's on Wednesday afternoon. If you're presenting, ideally you want to print your poster prior to arrival, and then the poster setup is the morning of your presentation from 7:15 to 8. Security is very tight at CCIB, at the Convention Center in Barcelona. You have to have a badge to get into the hall, with the exception of the first time you enter when you're heading just to the registration area. So it's very important that you plan enough time to have your badge so that you can enter the hall to put up your poster. So really, as soon as you get to Barcelona, I think the registration opens Tuesday at 2:30 to get there and get your badge as soon as possible. Um, and then you need to be at your poster board during the full session time. You should have already had a communication regarding that. And then the poster teardown is at the end of the day from 5 to 5:15. If you do have a poster, you may feel that after you've presented, your job is done and you can walk away. Please don't do that. Please do tear down your poster, even if you're not planning on keeping it as a keepsake, or for putting up. Some people put their posters up in their offices and back in their dental school or academic health center. If you're not planning on keeping it, please still at least take it down and dispose of it properly in recycle bins, which will be there, very accessible to you. Because if you don't do that, we have a very limited staff, and our very limited staff has to go around the poster hall and find any remaining posters and take them down. So we appreciate your helping us out in that regard. If you are presenting an oral presentation, you should go to the speaker ready room as soon as you are available, and upload your presentation. If you haven't already, you can actually do that right now. Upload your presentation, and you can also preview it in the speaker ready room. Sometimes fonts get a little confused between different computer systems. You want to just kind of run through your slides and make sure everything looks as you had planned it. And also then, to get to your oral session, at least 5 minutes, I'd say 10 minutes before the start of your session. So you can introduce yourself to the session chair so they know who you are. They can relax that they've got all the presenters lined up, and successfully chair the session. You can promote yourself in your social media channels. We have these graphics that are on our IADR General Session page. You can see the link at the bottom there. Just go to our IADR.org and then the 2025 IADR General Session. And you can download these graphics, and you can put your photo there that you're presenting or that you're attending, and put that in your own social media channels. When you get to the general session, you want to print your badge at the entrance hall of the convention. Here are the hours. So the soonest you can do it is Tuesday at 2 o'clock. And then you can see the other days we open up at 7 a.m. Through the duration of the meeting. So again, badge is very important for security. I don't know if we have this here, and also if you need to reprint your badge, there is a small badge reprint fee. So hang on to your badge. And then we also have a ribbon area where you can add a ribbon if you're a new member or first-time attendee, and a number of other categories. That way, it helps with introductions when you're meeting people in either the oral sessions or the poster sessions, to identify yourself as a new member or first-time attendee. And I can guarantee you'll get a very welcoming response from our members. Our members are very welcoming. We're very enthusiastic about new members and first-time attendees, and you will be welcomed with open arms. So during the week of the meeting, you want to use the app, as I've already said, to navigate the conference center and to find sessions to attend. Do attend the Distinguished Lecture Series speakers from Thursday to Saturday, and I've got a slide on that coming up. The opening ceremonies and awards presentations is Wednesday, starting at 3:30. And then the exhibit hall is Thursday to Saturday from 9 to 5. And it also has a networking center, and there are hours where you can get a cup of coffee at our networking center in the poster and exhibit hall. And then if you are active on social media, I see most of the faces here are a lot younger than I am, closer to Aubrey's age, and you're more active on social media than I am. I try to be on social media, but it sometimes goes over my head. But if you are on social media, do tag us with hashtag IADR 2025. And here are our DLS speakers. They're plenary sessions, meaning there's no other programming happening at this 9:45 to 10:45 a.m. slot on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. And we select speakers that traditionally go a little bit beyond dental, oral, and craniofacial research, but that will have applications to our field. Whether you're in their area of science or not, I can guarantee you it'll be pitched to a general scientific level. So, for instance, on Saturday, we've got Professor Kamada speaking on the oral gut connection and gastrointestinal disease. You will not need to be a microbiologist to understand his talk, and it'll be very interesting for you to attend. Ahmed Agwal was with the United Nations Foundations. He's now changed positions. Sorry, Aubrey, I missed this when I reviewed the slides earlier, but he's now with another foundation. But he's actually a dentist by training and used to be on our board 15 years ago, but then went on to a very successful sort of global health career and has worked at the World Health Organization, was very active in the tobacco campaign, the anti-tobacco campaign driven by WHO, and was at the United Nations Foundation until very, very recently. And it's going to give a great talk, I'm sure, on opportunities for oral health and global health security. And then Leslie Husco is local from the Spanish National Center for Research on Human Evolution in Spain, and she'll be speaking on sort of evolutionary biology with dental applications. So I think that'll be very fascinating also. So again, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, 9:45 to 10:45. Nothing else happening, so really no excuse to be in that. And it'll be in the same room as the opening session on the Wednesday. So it's one big amphitheater for planned for most of the attendees to attend. So then you get through the meeting, you get through Barcelona, you're flying your flight back on Saturday or Sunday or Monday. Maybe you'll take in a couple extra days in Barcelona. But after the meeting, you want to make sure you print your certificate for attendance if you need CE credit. You can review attended sessions from the app and receive the CE credits. Share your networking experience on the IADR community and take advantage of membership benefits throughout the year. So as an IADR member, it's not just about the 4 days every year when we have the IADR General Session, but we really provide benefits throughout the year, as I mentioned earlier, in terms of online access to our journals, but also the IADR community can really keep you connected to the new contacts I guarantee you will be meeting in Barcelona. And our schedule is such that every other year we have a meeting in the US right after the June meeting. So it's a very short timeline, is what I'm trying to say, between Barcelona and San Diego, because our next IADR General Session will be in March of 2026 in San Diego. Then the meeting after that, at the IADR General Session, will be 15 months. After that, our 2027 meeting is in Melbourne. I think I've got a slide on that coming up also. So yeah, here, this is save the date. It's a little bit later than we typically have our March meeting. So note that it's March 25th through 28th. That's to avoid some holidays and the end of Ramadan, actually. So it's a little bit later in March in the beautiful city of San Diego. You can follow us on social media, posting with your hashtag that was mentioned in these different channels. And if you have any further questions, you can reach us at research@iadr.org or try to find us online at iadr.org. And we have a pretty robust search feature that you can type in what you're looking for and see if it's able to be popped up. It's actually AI assisted in terms of finding information. And again, I'll leave this up for just a second so that if you haven't already, to download the mobile app by scanning this QR code with your smartphone device. Okay, any questions? Just raise your hand or take yourself off mute and ask a question. If I apply this one, okay. If I applied, thank you, Lauren, for asking the question. If I applied for an oral presentation, applied for the speaker prize, but have been given a poster, am I eligible for the poster prize automatically or not because I didn't select it prior? That will depend on the scientific group and network. Those are scientific group and network level prizes, so we don't control that from the IADR HQ. So I would need to know which group or network, and I would need to direct that question to your group or network. I should mention, because we did get a couple of questions this week from other members on orals versus posters. Due to space constraints, about 70 to 80% of the individual abstracts are assigned as posters. We and the group program chairs do not make a differentiation that a poster is any lower level of science than an oral. Orals are put together as to what makes sense as an oral session. So they group things together that will hang together as an oral session, common themes, building on another. So if you're accepted, if you have an accepted abstract, it doesn't make any difference in terms of the level of science, whether it's an oral or a poster. And a lot of times you can communicate a lot more during a poster session because you'll be getting questions along the way and you're standing there for 45 minutes and you can put a lot of data on your poster. You don't want to make it too busy, and sort of a trick to making a very successful poster is having a nice headline that grabs people, but you can also put supplemental information on a QR code on your poster. So you can print that on your poster, and people that want additional information, rather than having very busy tables with lots of data, you can put that in a QR code also, and then just kind of make sure you get your main point across. Is there a specific format for oral presentations? You just need to stick to the time. I mean, it's your PowerPoint presentation. You don't need to use any sort of, like IADR template or anything. Use your universities or your own template. Rehearse in advance so you know you can stick to time, because the chair will cut you off if you go on too far. And every oral session needs to leave time for discussion and questions also. So you want to make sure you just don't run the clock out with your presentation. So no specific format, but just to stick to time and to be conscious of time.
There's also another question asking about if the author cannot attend, can the co-author present the poster?
We generally frown upon that, but we do recognize that there are instances where somebody cannot make it to the meeting. If it's a last minute emergency and we know there's some issues going on with unfortunately countries at war at the moment, where people may not be able to get to Barcelona because flights are canceled or airports are closed. If you can get your presentation, whether it's an oral or a poster, to somebody that's actually at the meeting, then we make an exception to our general rule that you should really only have one presentation at an IADR meeting. So that's kind of on a case-by-case basis. So I would encourage you to reach out to us at either meetings at IADR.org or research at IADR.org and explain your situation. We'll see what we can do to make that happen. Our meeting is presented in English, so we apologize for that restriction, but the board has discussed that issue on a number of occasions and feel that for an IADR general session, the language of science is English, for better or worse, and we want the meetings presented in English.
Thank you. Then we have another question from Noor. For student presentation application, should the supervisor approach the IADR on behalf of the student, or the student member can apply directly?
We do not require any sort of supervisor approval, but obviously if you have co-authors, typically maybe your supervisor may be a co-author of the research that you're presenting, you obviously should have them review it in advance. But each university may have different policies regarding things that need to be approved for any scientific meeting to attend. But that's not a restriction from our side, and anybody has access to our abstract submission site. So for San Diego, that'll actually be opening in just a few weeks after the Barcelona meeting. So middle of July, the site will be open, the submission site for abstracts as well as session proposals will be open for you to submit for San Diego. You should submit yourself so you can kind of see the system and what's required. And also when you submit an abstract, since we're getting ahead of ourselves beyond the Barcelona meeting, there are a number of awards that are tied to the abstract that you have to click a box saying, yes, I want to compete in this award. So make sure that when you're submitting, you look through all that to make sure anything that you're eligible for, you want to be able to tick that box.
And we have the next question is from Charles. It's about the security while we are in Barcelona. Will the protests in Barcelona against over-tourism be of concern?
We do not think that that will be happening around where the CCIB is and the hotels. That will be if you take an afternoon off or a day and explore as a tourist around the Sagrada Familia, the big Gaudi church, or go to the Ramblas. Barcelona, as any sort of international city, is known for petty crime or pickpocket. So be very aware of your surroundings particularly if you are in any of these tourist areas, and take precautions particularly if you are going out and touring around Barcelona.
Okay. So the next question, is there a separate competition for posters? This is from Dania Al-Khatib.
At the moment, we do not have an IADR-wide poster competition, but we are piloting with one scientific group, Behavioral Epidemiologic and Health Services Research Scientific Group, to see if we can manage a poster competition. So it would all be done at the group level. At the moment, we don't have that IADR-wide, but it's a topic we're very much looking into because we think that can make the experience of presenting a poster much more meaningful. So we're looking at that, but we don't have that for Barcelona.
First time presenter here. How do I prepare for a poster session? Will there be a joint walk around with oral presentation, for example?
There is not. You need during the setup hours, put your poster. There is a chair for the section of posters that you are in, and you could reach out to that person and interact with that person in terms of how they will be running the poster session. And we have, dozens of poster session chairs, so that kind of varies by scientific group as well as who the particular chair is, but they will try to make it as meaningful as possible as well. Well, nice seeing all of you, and I look forward to seeing many of you in Barcelona. And wish everybody safe travels there. And thank you for participating in today's session.